So we just finished work for the day and we've just pulled off to the Paddocks Wetland here at Parry Hills. So I don't really know much about this. Apparently there's a dog park in here somewhere. So we're going to go for a wander and we're going to have a look around. Let's do it. So we've been on our walk for about 5 minutes now. We haven't really made it all that far. There's the van. But apparently it's really good sniffing along here. So this could be a long walk. So signboard tells me the original Paddocks site was a derelict farmland, adversely affected by stormwater from the Parry Hills residential area. Drains discharged stormwater uncontrolled into the paddocks, causing local flooding throughout the winter. The saline groundwater resulted in extensive bare salt scalds. Native vegetation had been long cleared for farming and weeds were rampant. An innovative design was developed which integrated the primary functions of flood protection with landscape design. Natural creeks, mounds, grassed swells, wetlands and flood storage areas were utilised in a system to contain stormwater and regulated discharge downstream. Most of the wetland areas of the paddocks are shallow, less than 1 metre, and will usually dry out in the summer. The plants in this wetland are well adapted to this wetting and drying cycle. There's a big sporting field over there on the edge of the track. The paddocks is an inferior wetland system, which is intermittent wetland areas that do not contain water all year round. By establishing artificial wetlands, habitats are created that would otherwise be absent from urban areas. Water birds, such as the Australian white ibis, and a range of plants and wildlife can benefit from these wetlands. The paddocks features small islands for refuge and breeding of water birds, dead trees and logs, deep and shallow water, reed and sedge beds, and dense vegetation in surrounding areas for shelter. So this is just a cute little viewing platform for the ducks. You can see them all coming in now. They must think I have food. They're coming for a feed. It's a bit smelly. A lot of graffiti everywhere actually, which is a bit disappointing. There's a playground over that way, so we'll probably won't head that way. But so much green, so beautiful. There's like nothing. You've got all the birds, you can hear all the nature sounds, and there's no people, so that's nice. Yeah, right, we're gonna keep walking. Can you see the ducks? Hey, there are ducks out there. Should we keep going? Yeah, come on. Good girl. Some plant species germinate and grow as the water recedes, covering the wetland floor, and these plants can become food for aquatic life when the wetlands flood again. The Paddocks Wetland is planted as a series of open grassy floodplains surrounded by a perimeter planting of large Melaleuca swamp paperbark trees and shrubs, with the occasional eucalyptus red river gum emerging above them. A number of species planted within the wetland are not endemic to the Adelaide Plains but have been introduced from the Murray Lands or further afield. So they've just got this little hill here with a chair that we've just climbed up from down there, a little zigzag, where you can just see a bit of the park and stuff like that. We just walked through all those reeds. It was so lovely. The wind was blowing a little bit and it was just rustling them and all the birds chirping. It was so nice. It's really nice out here. It's very peaceful. Little bits of wetland everywhere and lots of green grass. All right, keep going. The paddocks was given name to the development of nearly 50 hectares, with some 18 hectares used for sporting fields and the remainder developed for passive recreational uses. As the population in the Parry Hills area grew in the late 1960s, the lack of playing fields saw residents begin to push for the retention of the paddocks area for recreational use. So we just come across this sign here, not saying don't feed the wildlife at all, but if you're going to feed them, don't feed them bread and takeaway, feed them grapes and lettuce. So that's kind of cool. They're actually encouraging people to feed them. That'd be why those ducks came straight up to us when we were on that platform. The area was originally earmarked for residential development, but as the community objected, the land was reserved for open space and recreation. So this whole wetland is all done off of storm water. So they have the gates to let it in, let it out. They let it dry out in the summer apparently and keep it wet in the winter because they both promote different types of plants and wildlife by having it wet or having it dry. So they purposely let it dry out in the summer, which is kind of cool. So these wetlands are actually a lot bigger than I thought they were. It's got a really good, decent track to walk around. And it's all gravel, so even though we've had heaps of rain and stuff, it's still quite dry to walk on. Got some of the locals in the background there, keeping an eye on us. Yeah, so much wildlife. Like there's birds everywhere and all sorts of different birds. There's so many noises. I heard frogs back in that last one, but there was a bit of traffic going along the road, so it was kind of hard to hear them. But yeah, you can hear frogs and all sorts, so it's really cool. And it's obviously, you know, wet and wintry, so there'd be different wildlife and whatnot in summer when it's a bit drier and all that. Like they'd probably have different birds migrating and stuff too, so that's really cool. And the cool thing about the wetlands is like they're using all the stormwater to create the wetlands to begin with for all the native wildlife and stuff, but it also helps to filter the water so that it can then be reused, and they pump it out on all the sporting ovals and that were on the fringe of the wetlands here. They use that to water the sporting ovals, so that's super cool as well. There's so many awesome little spots to sit and have a rest. They've even got bins on the walk, which is nice, because nothing worse than having all this beautiful scenery and having to carry your bag of dog poop all the way around until you get back to your van again. So it's nice that they have bins. Makes the walk more enjoyable for the humans, not just the doggies. The City of Salisbury was given the task of designing the area allocated for open space, and following approval in the concept plan, construction of the wetlands began in 1975. And an extensive tree planting program was undertaken in 1977. So we passed a boy dog not that long ago, and now Echo insists on sniffing every single blade of grass on the way, every tree, every leaf. She's got to find out who he was. The wetland itself covers an area of 6 hectares, which have been extended over time by constructing levee banks and weirs for the flood protection. The stormwater runoff for the wetland is carried from the 60-hectare residential area up the escarpment of the site. The water enters an open channel, spilling into grassland, swale area, and finally into a large open pond. Aquifer storage and recovery trials commenced at the Paddocks Wetland by Council and the former South Australian Mines and Energy Department in 1994. The original trial went well and continues to operate today. There's public toilets over there by the car park, to where they've got all the barbecue and whatnot. Dog fountain. There's got a little riding track over here. Oh, I think I found the dog park. Wait up, wait. Oh, so it's got all these little points where you should stop and have a look. Wonder how many of them we actually stopped and looked at. And then here's the little riding track where kids can come ride their scooters or skateboards or push bikes or whatever, I guess. It's a bit cute. During the high rainfall period in winter, excess stormwater is filtered and cleaned by the wetlands and is pumped into the aquifer, which is 164 metres below the ground. During the day, summer period, the water is recovered as required and is used to irrigate the sporting fields and turf areas at the paddocks. This reduces the demand on mains water for irrigation, conserving water and reducing costs for maintenance of the site. So that playground was pretty massive actually, and there's heaps of these cute little bridges everywhere where the paths take you around to different places and stuff like that. They're all slightly different and they're all numbered as well, obviously for maintenance purposes. So I don't know if you guys like hearing about all the information that I find on the signs, but I love reading those signs and getting all the history of the areas and stuff like that, and what it was before and how they made it and when they made it and how long it's been here and all that sort of stuff. Oh wait, I've got to show you this cute bridge one. Oh, look at this cute little creek. It's like this tiny little bridge. Well, you can't really see it very well. Maybe I'll turn the camera around and you'll be able to see it better. Anyway, so my apologies if you don't enjoy listening to all of that talking about the history of the places that I go to, but if you don't like it, I guess let me know. Write a comment. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to keep getting them. Righto, so that was our Parry Hills wetland walk. We're just about back to the van now. I can see it peeking through the trees up here. It was surprising. It was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. It was a lot quieter than I thought it was going to be. There was hardly anyone utilising it. I think we passed like 4 people with dogs. No kids on the playground whatsoever. Yeah, so it was super nice and quiet. I mean, it is midweek in the middle of the day, but you know, that's the joys of having a van, so that you can take your dog for a walk whenever you want, really, isn't it? So yeah, I would say it's a win. I'd say we'll come back here. It'd be interesting to come back in the summer and have a look around and see how much it changes. So yeah, Para Hills Wetland Walk. Righto, so we're back at the van again. You can hear all the traffic in the background, but yeah, it was a really good walk. So yet another little adventure for us to tick off our list, and I dare say we'll come back for some more adventures, because it was actually a really nice park. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, until next time, see where the road takes us.